is a very good matchup as well, so this Zed pick might get pretty hard countered.
It might not do all the work, but we know how good Ebenez is, so if he's on form today on this Zed pickup, it's going to be pretty unplayable for NYYRIKKI. But we're rolling on to the Rift for the first time this evening. NYYRIKKI on the red side versus JDXL on the blue. Henning, do you have any predictions for us going into this one?
I think a lot of this is going to come down to Desideret early on. He's got some good winning lanes with a lot that should have the early pressure pretty much across the board. And he's playing Olaf, like the early game invading, go fight, go clear the jungle really quick, go make things happen jungler. So I want to see Desideret, or however his name is pronounced. I think he said it yesterday in an interview, I just can't remember what it was. I want to see him make things happen early on, and he's got all the tools to do so.
As you mentioned, and as Gulba mentioned on desk as well, this jungle matchup is going to be pivotal. I'm really excited to see how proactive the Olaf's going to be, how Dan will respond to it, and if the lanes are actually going to interact in the way we expect, because suddenly if Aero doesn't have priority mid, if top lane doesn't necessarily go the way that we want it to, then suddenly the Olaf's not going to be able to invade, and then things might get a little bit difficult. But junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, it would appear. So we're in for quite an interesting early couple of minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And this Diana has been such a popular first pick here across the NLC. It's pretty much been first picked like in most of the games that I've been watching, or at least in quite a few of them. So I would not be surprised at all if these talented and smart players and coaches have figured out, okay, it's going to be really valuable if we can find a counter to this Diana. So when it gets first picked, we can have something prepared. I'm not sure if it is going to be the Olaf, how strong of a matchup that's actually going to be. I think we're about to find out in this game. But I do like that they've seen something that's really popular and then try to counter it.
Then the top side, Petoska, not afraid to get involved with Cries early on. We saw the Vladimir on Monday, of course, in the mid lane rather than in the top side, and it really took off and caused issues. Level 2 though in the bot lane, that's the go button for the action. Abagnale's already been ignited. Kickers in the back line trying to cause some trouble, gets the stun down and forces the flash away from Lulu, who goes low but doesn't die. Azator trying to return that damage. Of course, Azator, they talked about it in the pre-show. This guy is insane numbers for someone who just can't win games.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the old pieces of wisdom that I've heard about League of Legends and playing AD carry is that nothing is as easy as looking good playing AD carry on a winning team. But looking good playing AD carry on a losing team, that's definitely something. So Azator should be a key player here onto this Aphelios. Not the easiest game to be playing AD carry though. Diana said, Leona. It's gonna be a rough one for him, but if he gets I think he needs to get going. I think he needs to get some attention early on, maybe some TPs, because you do have the double TP on your side, of course, or jungle pressure early on towards the bottom side. Try to get him going, because it's a tough game to play AD carry in otherwise.
Very true with the dive and the amount of issues that are going to be caused for Azator, but also you look on the other side with the likes of Lulu and Lissandra especially, and also Gangplank Ultimate, there are some tools that have been given to Azator to say, yeah, we know this one's going to be a little bit rough, bud, but here are some defensive peel options that we're hopefully going to use to keep you rolling. But early couple of minutes, the Olaf hasn't been too aggressive just yet, which is not the most surprising thing. Now he's got the pickaxe, he's going to be able to come back in and perhaps start to scrap a little bit. But in the mid lane, Ebenez is having more pressure than we necessarily expect.
Yeah, looks to be getting pushed in right here. Pushing in the lane right here. Got some decent CS. Looks to be running, I think, yeah, that is the first strike together with a minion dematerializer. So that's probably the said tech at the moment, trying to clear those waves just a little bit quicker. And with a level 5 right now, I think he's just waiting to get that ultimate and then perhaps go for an all-in. It's going to be hard to do so in mid lane though, because of course you know when Deathmark's going to be popping, when all that burst damage is going to come in. So if you have ultimate as Lissandra, you can just pop your ulti on yourself and then you're going to be very much fine in that situation. So it is an old school said counter top lane though. Petoska's taking a beating from Crisey.
Yeah, not having a good time at all. Is going to have to back away, grab an orange, and go back to base. You can already see Dan was moving up, thinking about it, but with the respect being shown by NYYRIKKI's top laner, it's all about going back and resetting. MNS still level 5, and that is very interesting to note because, of course, Zed wants to be going in for that big combination. Lissandra could completely shut that down if Aero's on form. Do you think Zed might want to just go somewhere else to try and get something going when he hits level 6?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what he should be looking for, making a play together with Dan, perhaps, or even get the roam from Kikis and try to make something happen together. Diving the top lane could be an option. GP is sort of squishy and easy to kill early if you are diving him with the set of Vladimir. Vladimir can also drop the tower aggro, so that's something that they could look for. But you also have to say that another reason that Lissandra is so good in this matchup is, yes, Zed wants to roam, but as soon as he leaves the lane, Lissandra kills the wave in like 2 seconds. So you really get punished hard, as I said, if that's what you're going to be going for, which is why I really like the Lissandra here. It's such a good counter to the set.
It's a really smart pick, and we'll have to see how Aero plays on it. He's got that farm lead at the moment, which is something that you might expect, but it's only been gained pretty recently as Abignale moving on into the mid lane just to give a little bit of support now that both champions have level 6. Of course, with Lulu giving some support, the ultimate could be used offensively from Aero, but under tower with a full health Zed, that seems unlikely. But the junglers have been quiet, especially Decidra, who is someone that we talked about needing to get stuff going early. Yes, it's only 6 minutes in, but you'd have hoped for a little bit more action than being on parity with Dan on the Diana.
Yeah, absolutely. Olaf is just a faster clearer. I think he was up 1 or 2 camps earlier on, but then he's just not been able to make things happen. Kikis goes in mid, doesn't do too much damage, so Air is going to be fine. But yeah, if these two junglers just trades evenly, farms it out, Dan is going to be super happy with that. Scales a lot better. Picking Olaf and not doing anything early, just clearing your own jungle and then trying to get the farm going, it's not really what I want to see. Gank top lane though.
Tosca, he's in a lot of trouble, throws down the ultimate, but this is exactly what we wanted MNS to do. Goes top, gets the op down, doesn't get the kill, but Christ getting it is no bad thing either.
Absolutely, getting this Vladimir going is going to be huge because he's been having sort of a free laning phase. He's also gone for the Ghost, which is a greedy choice, makes you much more vulnerable to ganks early, but it scales very well into the later stages. It's getting this scaling Vladimir going, giving him a good advantage early on over the GP. That is pretty huge for JDXL, and I like that MNS is... I think that was the correct choice going top lane there. Does not look like he's been punished too heavily in mid lane either.
Yeah, the farm lead hasn't grown too drastically. He's going to be able to pick up most of that wave to keep it on about a wave and a half down to the Lissandra, but does need to be careful. Abignale and Decidra is on the side. Going to get some damage down onto Lulu. Kikis there in support means that there's not likely to be any kills unless a full fight breaks out, but Kikis should be able to stumble away, taking a little bit of poke on the way out. But Aero going forward, forces the flash. Nice on, but from Dan, though, this fight could just kick off again, but the Ragnarok is going to be used defensively, and Olaf walks away. No kills this time around, but you can see that things have started to speed up a little bit with the Rift Herald now spawning onto the Rift.
Oh, there's the flash.
Ultimate coming through onto Kikis. The damage coming down. It will be Leona falling, but the return from Dan and MNS, they might want to try and get revenge, but they also need to be careful. Another flash being burnt by JDXL in the mid lane. NYYRIKKI turn it on and grab themselves their first kill.
Yeah, NYYRIKKI making a good play right there. First using the exhaust to completely negate the Diana in the first fight, and then the re-engage from Aero, correctly spotting that he could go for that play. And I think Aero has been the shining light, together with A-Star probably, for NYYRIKKI so far in this tournament. He was playing really well on Monday on the Vex, doing a lot of, like, really not being afraid to go for the plays. And that's something that you have to do as a mid laner. I think you can't just be sitting back and farming. At least when you're playing these champions like Vex and Lissandra, you have to spot the opportunities where you can go in and then be brave about it, not being too careful. And I think Aero's been doing a good job of that so far.
I think so too. And look at this play again. It was quite a drawn out fight, but what do you make of this?
Yeah, so first off, the Olaf is just really tanky at this point. It's hard to get at him. Dan tries to go for it, but you can see the exhaust coming in. Not at the perfect time, but still makes Dan disengage. And here you can see Olaf is at half HP, Kikis is half HP, and then Kikis walks up really far, while MNS is at the tower. So the wave was pushing in, so MNS went to pick that up. And then I just think that JDXL were not on the same page. MNS should have said that, hey, I'm going to go back to tower. Oh, here we go, though.
Oh, another fight kick off. Emnes in the backline. Desera is going to be melted through while Ragnar rocking, but the fight continues. Nice catch out there onto Azator. He's going to be able to get away for a second longer, but actually steps away and survives. Aero hanging around, but isn't going to be caught out and does manage to move away. A fight one-on-one trade in the end, but it was close to much more.
Yeah, 4v4 is just getting won here by JDXL being able to burst down the Sidra, not able to do too much there. His team came in to help him, and they pretty much had to pay they were close to having to pay with their lives as well. Azator just surviving at the last second with a clutch shield coming in there, and you can see Patoska having a rough time up here as well. 20 CS for Christ, it goes for the dive.
It should be simple as that. Easy pop, and Christ won't even take tower aggro as he makes his way out. This Vladimir, once again, we're seeing it have a lot of success.
And this is so scary for any team who's preparing to fight against JDXL, knowing that both the enemy top and mid laner can play Vladimir this well. Like, it's not an easy champion to play. The mechanics might not be the most complicated, but knowing when to go in, knowing when to play, how to lane, it's an early game, sort of a weak laning champion, still being able to do it this well. Like, JDXL are impressing with this Vladimir pick.
Absolutely true, and when you can flex around a pick that isn't the most common, you're going to cause people to have to think, I'm going to have to deal with this, I'm going to have to think about this possibility. Chemfog we're going to see across the rift this time around means that we're going to have a bit of an interesting one. NYYRIKKI with those two dragons could set themselves up a win condition in 10 minutes time if they can keep up with the pace, but JDXL, comfortable gold lead at the 10-minute mark, looking to make it difficult for those dragons to be secured.
It is a pretty good gold lead for JDXL. Early Cloud, like one Cloud, one Mountain at this point doesn't actually do that much for NYYRIKKI. What it does do is, of course, bring them closer to that, to the potential Chemtech soul. So yeah, they've got that opportunity, but I do like JDXL's position a lot more at this point, especially this Vladimir. Look at this, Patoska being forced to use the wave, the ulti just to clear the wave, and that's almost a 30 CS lead for Kreis.
It just feels bad when you see a Gangplank ult used directly on top of him to clear out a wave, and NYYRIKKI just needing to calm things down a little bit, especially in that top side. But again, the fact that the jungle, the Sidra, didn't really get all that much done in the early stages. He has got Rift Herald now, so could look to invest some of that gold into one of these lanes, and hanging around mid lane for now. There's being on that Zed, going to be dropping that one down, no CC available, and Kikis walking in. It's going to be able to take out those Rift Herald as soon as it charges, but I think the charge will pop off and some gold will be put into members. But in the top side, we've seen this one before. Patoska, buddy, there's just no way, but Dan will have the flash to survive.
Not sure exactly what happened there. It looks like JDXL might have misplayed it a little bit. Kreis not tanking it up. Oh, all in mid lane.
Ooh. Arrow going to ult away from a lot of the damage, but it's not going to be enough as Eminez gets the cut down and the kill. The assassination is complete.
And Eminez just looks at the items in the mid lane, having completed both his mythic item and then getting another serrated Dirk while there's not even one item onto Arrow. Dive top lane though, yeah, it looks like it was properly played by JDXL there. Kreis tanking it up, then pooling to dodge the tower aggro, then forced to use the flash, but shutting down Patoska, giving Kreis an even bigger advantage here is definitely worth it. And this Vladimir is just going to be so hard to deal with for an Aphelios, a Lulu. Kreis is going to be a monster this game, that's my prediction.
2 kills, look at all that health, he's not easy to take down, and Patoska needs to decide how he's going to resolve this issue, because Eminez is now moving up to that top side. You can see on the mini-map as a lot of people hanging around bot, but it's just no rest for this poor Gangplank. He's not been allowed a second to breathe, and Eminez is just going to be keeping the pressure up. Maybe Kreis is going to be able to take down this tower in the next couple of waves.
Yeah, that tower is low. I think that's 4 plates have gone over to this Vladimir. Also, the Zed not really getting punished too hard for these roams. I talked about how Lissandra can push the wave really quickly and punish the Zed, but he's been roaming quite a bit and is still ahead in CS in the mid lane. So this just goes to show that JDXL, they know what they're doing. They are in the right place at the right time. You can see Dan actually rotating towards the mid lane to pick up the wave when Eminez was top lane and counter jungling. So they have good team coordination on the map, a strong knowledge of the macro game, and they're just getting... I mean, they're punishing NYYRIKKI over and over here. 5k gold lead.
Oh, Zamalek going to be called out with a lot of CC popped onto him. Going to be stunned up with that Glacial Prison as well.
Whoa!
Zamalek! What?
Ira just flashed in, thought he could burst down Zamalek 100-0 with some help from Abagnale as well, but goes down, and Zamalek, I think, surprising him with the damage on that last piercing arrow. Abagnale did not even use the wild growth, even though we were in range from across the wall. So Zamalek with the outplay right there on the... Wow, impressive.
I mean, I'm shocked. I have no idea where all that damage came from. Zamalek, up to that point, hadn't done anything but farm this game. Turns up one-shot arrow when he's got support, and now the game is looking a little bit brighter for him. Rift Tower going to be dropped in the mid lane. Second of the game this time, it's JDXL, and Cries continues to play on the top side. Observers, if we could just have a little gold toggle, if at all possible. I just want to see what's going on that top lane when it comes to gold. Oh my goodness, 2,500 gold for Vladimir. JDXL starting to run away with this one a little bit.
That is pretty insane. Not that far away from having double gold. And this matchup, wow, Kreis is huge at this point. Having taken down that tower in the top lane as well, he now has free reign to roam both in the enemy jungle to steal away those camps, or roaming down to mid lane to pick up those waves, which allows his team to go towards the bottom side.
I mean, that's how your fancy feet. He's going to get a little bit of damage down onto Olaf, but it's not going to be enough to secure the kill. We're going to see the wild growth to make sure that the death mark doesn't pop him. But the dragon will be secured by JDXL, sneaking it from under their noses. A kill for a dragon. It's probably worthwhile.
Probably worthwhile from JDXL. Not 100% sure about the play from NYYRIKKI. I think when you're this far behind, you have to make risky play. And trying to go for some sort of a 50-50 flip to maybe secure a third dragon to get that, to get so close to that Chemtech soul could perhaps have been the play there. I think desperate times call for desperate measures, and trying to go for some sort of a big dragon fight even though you are behind might be what NYYRIKKI had to do there, but they did not, and that means that a potential dragon soul strong point is going to be quite far away.
Yeah, it's been pushed back by another 5 minutes at minimum, and Christ just finishing the work that Emnes started on that bot side. Baron hasn't even spawned yet, going to be up in 2.5 minutes as NYYRIKKI move bodies towards the top side. Petoska called for help. The beacons are lit, but only Olaf has answered the call just yet. Kicker's hanging around in that Chemtech fog, and it's pretty rough for NYYRIKKI right now, just because of the dragon creating this uncertainty in the jungle. It's giving the likes of Kikis, the likes of Dan, the opportunity just to wander in and create threat without them even knowing.
Yeah, when you're running these two big assassins, the Diana and the Zed, that is something that you like, being able to hide in a lot more places, giving you more opportunities to go to set up plays. I would love this if I'm Menace or Dan. Did take a bit of a chunk from the GP, having finished both the Executioner's Calling and the Triforce. You can see that Petoska's not that weak, but he might still go down here.
Ooh, very nice play from Petoska. Going to be flashed away from Dan, exchanging flash for flash there. Ultimate's not being burnt either side because Petoska didn't have his to use. Dan actually putting his down, but it's a lot much of a cooldown, and NYYRIKKI will move towards this mid lane siege with Zamalek and Kikis the only defenders. I think they might be able to crack open this tower.
Yeah, are they going to be punished by JDXL? Though there is a cleanse coming out for Asador, so they are able to get away, I think. Yeah, they're just going to be getting out of there.
Olaf gonna Ragnarok. Dan is there though. Ebenez on the side, and I think he's given up his life so the rest of his team could leave. And Zed, the damage is pretty dirty, and Ebenez picks up another kill.
He is pretty big at this point, does have the Ghost Blade and the Eclipse finished right here, so the 2-item sort of power spike for this Zed. There is going to be a Zonia's Hourglass on the way for Eero, but other than that, there is not a ton of defensive items on NYYRIKKI to be able to get away. Speaking of NYYRIKKI getting away, though, can Eero get away from this?
Well, he's managed to root up one, but Cries is still chasing, puts the ghost on off what he was a vampire, but apparently not. Teleport coming through, but the ultimate will stop him in his tracks. He's going to ult himself. The Glacial Prison will be a tomb, and it's going to be the kill going over to Cries.
Very optimistic play there from Eero. Not sure if it's worth trading the TP for the Leona ulti. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's not worth it, but try to get away there. All in top lane.
Oh, Potoska trying to dive away for as much damage as he can, but Gangplank sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah, M&S is so huge at this point. He can pretty much one-shot anyone on the enemy team. Perhaps the Olaf could survive that big burst, but I don't even think so. I think M&S is fat enough to kill anyone, and with all of these squishes on the enemy team, he is having a field day right now. He can pretty much run anywhere and just one-shot almost anyone. Maybe Aero with both a stopwatch and the defensive Lissandra ult. He could survive through it, but I'm not even sure about that.
It's looking harder and harder for NYYRIKKI to get back into this one. The damage coming out, you look at someone like Aero, who's reasonably tanky, has the Frozen Tomb, has the opportunity to keep himself in stasis and lock people down, but he just can't survive any of these fights anyway. And that's not to say the other players. Potoska 0-4 has had no opportunity to do anything this game so far. And now JDXL, 21 minutes on the clock, have started up the Baron, and I don't know if there's any opportunity for NYYRIKKI to even get to this one.
Yeah, look at the vision in the top side jungle here. All of the controlled wards down for JDXL. Nothing here for NYYRIKKI. They could use the GP ult or the blue trinket on Acitor, but I think it's going to be too late. The Baron goes down in favor of JDXL, and I think at this point they pretty much just need to recall and then do this 1-3-1 that I do love when you have secured the Baron. Throw M&S and Crycy on the side lanes. They are so strong that no one on the enemy team can deal with them. That should be enough for them. Third dragon perhaps for NYYRIKKI spawning here, though. Will JDXL be here in time to contest it? Looks like they will.
I think they will, and they don't want to be giving NYYRIKKI any way back into this game. Yes, it's a long shot, but the Dragon Soul for Chemtech is just so powerful. Cries needs to be slightly careful. I only say slightly because he gets a massive ultimate off, and now the fight's going to kick off in earnest. Cries on the side, gets hit up, and the healing is huge. It's a big Viking, but I don't know. Zamalek on the side just deletes Lissandra, and now will dance away from Olaf. Picks up a second, looks toward Potoska, picks up a third, looking for more. He hits a fourth. Can he get it? No! Dan steals the Penta! Dan, no!
No, Dad, what are you doing? Zamalek just pew, pew, pewed, shooting there with a bow and arrow like crazy, just killing them one by one like lambs to the slaughter they were running in, and Zamalek's just like shooting them down 5-0 and 2 right now onto this Varus with an insanely well farmed game, 240 CS at 21 minutes. Let's take a look at this fight once more and just look at Crycy's damage here when he goes for the big combo on several people on the enemy team. That is, I believe, a 3-man ulti and a 3-man Vladimir E there, getting everyone low. GP ult and a Aphelios does some damage, but then it's just the Zamalek show right now. The Sidere, Potoska, everyone's just dying one by one. Zamalek pretty much solo carrying the fight right here. You love to see that if you're an AD carry main.
Absolutely monstrous positioning and movement from Zamalek in that last fight, and picking up 4 kills, 5-0-2. The farm, as you said, is exceptional, and the Dragon going over to JDXL slows things down even further. Frozen Tomb has been popped. MNS diving away, though, because he knows support is inbound. This time around, NYYRIKKI survived with their mid laner intact, but on the top side, with Baron on 5, you've got to... Oh, Baron on 4, actually. Cry's not being a recipient of that one, as he did go down. But JDXL are going to have the opportunity to siege. Definitely taking everything outside of the base, you have to imagine, but could look to make inroads towards inhibitors.
Do have a pretty strong diving composition. Honestly, when you're this far ahead, perhaps you could go for it. Zamalek, Gale forces away from the engage, way played by him. But yeah, getting back to my earlier point, I think if you just engage with the Leona and then follow up with the Vladimir, who can tank the tower and then drop into the pool, you can honestly just go for a 5v5 dive here if you are finding that position. However, you might want to minimize the risk and then just go for the slower play, sieging it down with the Varus instead.
And that's exactly what they're going to do, just looking to play it pretty safe. Baron not up anymore, so the siege is going to be a bit slower, but everything outside the base was taken down. So successful Baron from JDXL, and 11,500 gold lead. It's definitely been a fairly simple game for them up to this point. Now we're going to have to see if they're able to close out efficiently, and if not, what NYYRIKKI can do to make their lives difficult. Aero looking towards MNS, but won't be able to catch him. As Zamalek down on the bot side, looking to just push on through. NYYRIKKI need to mount a pretty solid defense and scale themselves back into this game, but it's looking harder and harder as they're dragged around their nexus.
Could they just go for a big engage here? Eminence is not here if they want to go with a Lissandra E engage perhaps, but it is still really hard to find it. I think that's the hope for NYYRIKKI. Catch someone out of position now. Dive coming in here.
Podolska takes a big chunk, will be able to heal through and survive, but Eminez, he's a real threat, he's a real menace on the other side, and JDXL don't need to give him that much support because he's got so much self-peel, he can just try and get an assassination, 3/4 health of the top laner, and then wander away.
Yeah, and with the ulti being in such a short cooldown, you can see now it's 1/3 of the cooldown gone already, so he's going to be able to do that quite soon already. JDXL are going to go for a recall here, though, so NYYRIKKI actually being able to defend their base quite well, and I'm not sure of how strong set of a place there it was for JDXL, because I think with the position that they had with the Baron, they could have gone for a big dive, they could have gone for a 1-3-1 split push, they could even go for the siege together as 5, but now they kind of did a little bit of all three, not really going for like really committing to any of those plays and not actually able to break the base there. NYYRIKKI defending well, JDXL perhaps a bit too cautious there.
Caution isn't always a bad thing, though. JDXL haven't put themselves out of the game or given NYYRIKKI much opportunity to get back into this one with their kind of split decision making. That being said, Baron is up in 45 seconds. Dragon is up simultaneously, so could be a simple trade, it could be JDXL trying to take both, or it could be a different play entirely. Hanging around, looking towards the Baron area, wanting this objective a little bit more because Soul isn't online for either of these teams just yet, and NYYRIKKI, even if they take this Dragon, I don't know if they survive another 5 minutes. They're looking for the engage on the Zamlek, who is going to be able to jump away. Now the fight is being engaged. Dan gets the ultimate onto two. Aztor goes low. Zamlek looking for the snipe, but he needs to be careful because he's gone pretty low. Podolska on the side. Zamlek is burnt as Kryze has to go. Golden Eminez moving in now. He wasn't here initially, but he's going to be able to get the assassination. Arrow goes low, goes into the tomb. He dives on Podolska, grabs himself one, gets another with the help of Kryze. And that's two members of NYYRIKKI down. JDXL, split decision-making, decide to go towards the Dragon, towards the rest of NYYRIKKI, who are just going to clear out vision and look to back away. Eminez gets the assassination. Pantor has nowhere to go. The damage is massive. The polymorph, the gold, the damage on to another as Olaf is felled. Vladimir picks up one. It's just Abagnale looking to waste some time, but he hasn't got too long for himself. The stun, the damage, the kill, the ace. And I think JDXL might be able to close this one out.
JDXL just too dang far ahead. There's not much NYYRIKKI could have done in that situation. They did go for a big engage, but weren't able to find anything. I mean, look at Acidar here is really big at this point. 3 completed items is pretty strong on this Aphelios, but still walks in range of a Diana engage. You have to question that decision-making from the Aphelios. Being half HP and forced to flash very early on in the fight means that he won't be able to deal the damage, has to play very far back, and now you can see the disaster here for NYYRIKKI getting split off, 2 people on one side of the wall, 3 people on the other, not able to do anything in this fight. And I mean, it's not only NYYRIKKI playing bad or JDXL playing well, it's just that JDXL are so far ahead, which you can see here. Eminence not even ulting and still just one-shotting Acitor in that play. Not sure if they've finished the game while we were watching the replay. I guess not, because I think our service would have shown us that. But I actually thought they were going to do it with a TP coming in from Kryze, but no, they just went for the double inhib, and we're back in the game here.
Maybe the safer play is Dan goes gold and has got ultimate available though, so we can look to pull the trigger on that one. Will look to do something, he gets shut down by Olaf Ragnarokking away. NYYRIKKI going to pick onto the jungler, which may well stop them trying to get towards that Baron. Don't want to be giving up a smite steal to NYYRIKKI, but JDXL needs to be careful. Podolska needs to be even more careful, and it's just one of those games for the Gangplank. He hasn't been given any opportunities to survive. Damage coming onto Zamalek though, as Kickers grabs the ultimate only onto Astor though. He needs to be a little bit clever, cleanse the way, but the damage is big. He burns low and Kickers grabs the kill. The Cedar on the side though. JDXL needs to be a little bit more careful here as Aero goes into statuette form. Kryze securing the kill just like that. And now with those double inhibs down, the pressure is on, and JDXL move towards the Nexus.
And that should definitely be the game here. Eminence gonna go for it, finishing it off in style. 9-1 on this set, being able to find the catch on the GP there, using the Chemtech Rift very well. 0-7-0 for Petoska. Compared to like the 0-0, I guess this is a license to int or something. I don't know, but not having the best game.
It was rough. Petoska was focused so heavily in that top side. Tried play exceptionally well, and it just like that. JDXL 30 minutes in, grabbed themselves another win in the